Welcome to the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
I'm Jill from New York.
And I'm Linda from Tasmania.
We are two moms from opposite sides of the world who are living, demonstrating, and helping moms across the world build their self-care asset bank.
Ready to dive in? Messy, interrupted, imperfect, and most of all mucked up. Let's get going.
Hello.
Hello. We're back again. Can you believe it's 1:20? That is crazy.
It is.
It's very crazy.
There we go.
Yeah. So for those of us who those of us you find the correct verb or the other things. So for those who have perhaps not tuned in, we start the episode with highs and lows because we do believe that parenting and self-care and all of the other things is about mucking up and mucking down and all the other bits in between. So just like to highlight all the different aspects of reality of parenthood and all the rest of it. So Jill, do you want to go first this time with highs and lows?
All right. So highs and lows. Let's see. My high is I have some big plans for Mama Outspoken, and I'm getting excited, but also terrified of them. But it's like that, like, oh, what's coming down the pike, kind of excited and terrified. So some things are in the works. I am excited because we have Mama Outspoken Village just met, I think. I have to look at the calendar to make sure. Yes, last week. And we did a back to school event and kind of just talked all the things about how it's been feeling, because it's been very hard, as I've talked about the last couple of episodes in my highs and lows, that things are just super challenging. So we had a back to school pop-up event for the Mom Outspoken Village. I have a summit coming up, and I'm going to do a little bit of an interview series with some of the professionals that I've worked with in my birthing story and experience. And yeah, just a few little things to start teasing, I guess. Getting excited about.
Really, really exciting.
Yeah. And then my low is that there's just been a lot of loss happening in our family here, that it's a little bit of anticipatory grief happening with my dad and his health. And then my aunt recently passed away as well. So it's just been this exposure of loss this month. And a very close friend from church, she passed away, which both were very sudden and unexpected. And it's just been a little on the hard side for us as a family to cope with that and to keep moving on.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are my highs and lows. Linda, would you share?
Sure. So I'm going to start with the high as well. I think the high for me, we've had a pretty chilled out day / weekend with the little ones, just enjoying them being little and having huge imaginations and just putting puzzles together and drawing and jumping and singing and playing keepy uppy with the balloon, just little things which are big things, which have just created a lot of fun and laughter and all that sort of stuff. The low for me is just feeling really tired sometimes. And I also feel like I need to go to bed at like 8 p.m. just to get an 8-hour sleep, because I've got, kids up with nightmares, or they can't find their left shoe in the middle of the night, which is random. Sometimes I wonder if they're sleepwalking or something sometimes. Or someone needs the toilet or a drink or just needs me. And so it's all of this really disrupted sleep. So in order to get 7 or 8 hours, I feel like I actually need to go to bed at 8 till 7 just to And last night I did actually go to bed quite early, like it was just after 9, which is very early for me.
Yeah.
And I was up just after 7. And yeah, I think my watch clocked 7.5 hours because there was all of these interruptions all through the night where I'm like, oh my gosh, just let me sleep a solid chunk of an hour or two, because it's like, it's not very healthy. It's not very normal. And all of the research and scientists and everyone out there will tell you, get 8 hours of sleep. Well, how is that with 4
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah.
Any kids, with 1, with a baby especially.
I
Like,
know. Oh my
it's
gosh.
it really feels like you need to go to bed at some crazy hour and sacrifice any time that you might get to reset.
I think it's so funny when my watch suggests a 5 p.m. bedtime for me because of how I didn't sleep well the night before. I'm like,
Mhm.
in what
Yep.
world can I go to bed at dinner time?
Mhm. Mhm. I know, like, I got up this morning and nothing was done because I'd had this early night. So
Mhm.
what was the payoff?
Right.
And literally it was like, ah, like there was not much done at all. So yeah, it's tricky to actually not burn out and
Mhm.
get rest
Yeah.
as well. Mm. Tell us a little bit about your story of burnout, because I know it's a pretty big one.
I feel like, yeah, I think I'm usually blindsided by that
Mm. Mhm.
maternal burnout, as we're gonna call it.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I think it actually is different than the burnout that I faced early on in motherhood when I was working at the same time as trying to learn how to be a
Mm.
mom. Um,
Mm.
because that I felt was just like overall, like I just didn't know what I was doing and trying too hard on everything kind of burnout. And
Mm.
now with a 5-year-old, I am feeling that I think a little bit more differently now because there is so much because I've because I've put boundaries in place for work and family where I find myself in that maternal role being challenged outside of the work stuff. So like I get this little bit of reprieve when I am in work mode because I am alone. I'm not in the home much anymore during work hours. So I have a bit of that boundary and separation that I can pull away. But
Mm.
lately with lately it's only been 4 weeks, but the school stuff, like
Mm. Mhm.
that's bringing me to this burnout point right now in how am I really handling not just all of this home stuff on top of being a mom, but how am I handling being a mom right now? Because that's
Mm.
really hard in this experience of school. And I'm not enjoying it. And it's becoming a burnout because I'm finding myself getting so frustrated. It almost feels like the postpartum rage is coming back in a way because of how quickly I'm turning into these anger pieces of being triggered by
Mm.
some things that it's just like, this feels too familiar. And is this then like where I need to somehow back up and find
Yeah.
something else because there's got to be a better way of handling some things and I'm not doing a good job at it.
Mm. Mm. It's
That
so
feels
hard.
like burnout, right? Is that what burnout is?
Yeah.
Like when you're realizing that it's just not fun anymore. This has got
Yeah.
to be a better way.
And it's exhausting, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially some of the 5-year-old defiants, toddler, not even toddler anymore.
But
Like, they're not even,
no.
they're starting to develop and grow quicker than we can sometimes keep up with. And
Oh,
it's your first time parenting a 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It's your first time going through the phase of school, and school refusal is massive.
Yeah.
It's really huge.
And unfortunately, I feel like it's coupled with so many other heavy things happening in our life as a family, with all this loss and expectations of loss, that like I might not even know all the things that Declan is feeling that are weighing on him and making things difficult. And I am so sure that he feeds off of me and what I am, whatever I'm projecting out there. So
they do.
that
Absolutely.
doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah, not at all. And Declan could be going through his own little sort of burnout as well.
Yeah.
Which he's got no idea it is actually that. No idea about
He hasn't had a
the skills.
God, the transition of not having a nap because of school is like the hardest part for him, causing this burnout for him.
In some ways, I'm so glad that all of mine dropped theirs before they were 2. It's like it seems so early, but in some ways it's been
like there's a blessing in that one.
Because we haven't had to. It's a whole new world of navigating school and new routines and pressure. Like the pressure on kids at school, I think is only increasing.
Sure.
As well. And how do they then try to fit in their ideas of self-care when they've got school pressure or school schedules and routines and everything else like that?
Yeah, because I mean, after school they have their after school activities. Like we have now drum lessons and karate, and we try to squeeze everything in. I'm trying to squeeze in a workout. So we get home from school, let's say Mondays, and we're home for a half hour for him to just like get a quick snack, and then we're back in the car off to one thing after another for the rest of the night. And it's like, why am I making him do all this? Why am I making me do all this? Actually, last night I was sitting and thinking, journaling, and realized that like things have to change because like while it's fun and nice for me to be doing some of these things with Declan, like we got to get caught up on some karate classes because we've missed a few. So we're just trying to make them up, which is making us go more frequently than we usually do. But then with me doing my workout class, it's right after his, makes that mean dinner doesn't get made every night or every other night pretty much. So where am I fitting that in? It's just not working with our schedule, but I'm committed for a certain amount of time for these workout classes at that time frame. So I'm like, how am I going to fit in now? Like we got to reassess this whole thing that I had planned out of my schedule because I'm seeing where that burnout is happening now. And it's, I don't have the same evenings that we used to have. And that was crucial for us as a family, is having our evenings together. So how do I manipulate things? And I think that is preparing myself for self-care, because that's the block that I have after school set up for us, is a self-care block. And am I committing to it the way that I thought I was going to be if we have so many obligations after school? So I think being aware of that is now like the first step in making self-care back a priority, not just saying it is because it's on the calendar, but actually following through with it.
Yeah. I've realized that part of our self-care sometimes is incorporated into our routines. So the little ones at the moment, they're 2 and 4, almost 5. But we've just found an Australian podcast which is like silly stories for kids, and they absolutely love it.
Cool.
Like, huge call out to this guy because he's done hundreds of episodes, and they're just really funny and silly, and they've got good voices and sound effects, and so we will often listen to that in the car or while we're going to bed or while we're going to sleep. So instead of making it another thing to do, I'm just stacking it on top of what we're already doing, which means we just have to try and get to bed 10 minutes earlier, which isn't that much of a big deal. And so that way, if we're in the car for longer than 10, 15 minutes, we put it on in the car. And they're sort of cups filled in a way because they really enjoy it and they really get a lot of fun and laughter and everything else out of it. And it just makes sense. So,
I like that.
Yeah, it has helped just being able to stack that on so that it's not just another thing to add to the day, because I think that's how burnout creeps up. It's one thing after another stacked on top of another, and then before you know it, your list is so long and you've got sticky notes flying everywhere and you're like, it's just something's got to change. This is too much to actually handle right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's got to give.
Yeah. I even said to Bobby the other day, I was like, I have to make some kind of a change, because how am I supposed to get all the things that we want to do done? And I'm really, it's prioritizing. What is the priority here?
Yeah. It's really tricky. It's so tricky. Why do you think maternal burnout is such a real issue when it comes to self-care?
You know what? I can only speak to what I'm recognizing in myself. Is like I've been practicing going by my values, and like I have top 3 values: family, happiness, and faith. But my priority there with my top value is family, so I'm putting them first. But how can I really, we go back to all the conversations we had, and how can we put into our family if we're not putting into ourselves first? So I think that it's easy to skip over me when my first priority is my family in that maternal role specifically, that I come by the wayside. And when I'm in the burnout part, the self-care is to separate, to remove myself, to go run away, just to not be in that space anymore. That's creating all the havoc and making both of us, not just me, feel a certain way. Because obviously I might just be the one triggered into anger, but he's receiving all that anger. So yeah. So I think it can be, for me, tricky to get into the self-care because I'm just so still stuck on they come first. If that makes sense. But I don't know.
I do.
Where are you at with that?
I just want to throw something your way, perhaps. Because family being your top value, aren't you part of the family anyway?
I am. I know. Thanks for the challenge, Linda.
Yeah.
I will have to say, the workout class that I'm in is kickboxing, and that bag really gets hit every night. There's a lot of frustration that comes out in that.
Might need to do up the stitching again by the end of your session. The family is not excluding you, though. It's tricky because you want to give your all, but if you're burnt out completely, it's It's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. And how do you do it when you're alone? Like Linda,
Mm-hmm.
you have
Mm-hmm.
no fallbacks.
No.
It is the biggest struggle for you to get someone else to come in and pick up the slack when you are in a burnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you do have to you've just got to let things slide. You have to have the dishes there the next morning when you wake up, and you have to say, you know what, I'm not picking up the pencils for the 6th time in a row, because that is just feeding somebody else's idea that I'm here to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And kids, that's really hard for kids to sometimes understand, because you are their person, you are their all.
Yeah.
But things really do have to slide, and my mum will make very innocent yet not helpful passive aggressive sort of comments about how messy the house is sometimes. But seriously, you just have to prioritize. Like you said, you have to decide, am I going to go to bed early for a bit more sleep, hopefully, maybe, or am I going to do these dishes with resentment and hate? And
Yeah.
it might be better for myself in the morning, but I won't feel refreshed or won't have that extra bit of sleep. Yeah.
Oh, it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you've just got to let things slide sometimes. There's a funny Instagram video that I saw the other day where it was like, it's Monday morning and you realise you've rested over the weekend as a mum, and she's looking around and there's like laundry piled high, dishes, like everything else on a Monday morning after you've had a rest on the weekend. And it's so true.
Yeah, right here.
What's the payoff? What's the payoff? Like,
Yeah.
what's the sacrifice you have to make?
Yeah, it was so hard. I told my husband, I was like, I made it so I didn't have to do anything today, and I just want to stand up and move around and do stuff, but I don't also want to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It's really, really tough. So, yeah. So if you are listening along thinking about how self-care is even possible if you're burnt out or on the way to burnout or all the rest of it, we have got a little cheat sheet that we've put together that we'd love to gift to you. All you have to do is reach out. All of the details will be in the show notes. And we would love to be in touch, or even just send us a quick email with your thoughts about this episode or other episodes. Quick email saying hi or all the rest of it. And yeah.
Yeah, because you're not alone in that maternal burnout that you might be
Mhm.
feeling right now.
Not at all.
We know it. So,
Exactly.
well, thank you, Linda, for this conversation.
Thank you, Jill, as always.
Thank you for listening in.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that case, Linda, until next week.
We hope you can unstuck your muck.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.